Ladies and gents, welcome to the video. I'm GetGoodGuy, your friendly local neighborhood dude who sits in a room and makes videos about the former smash hit series Battlefield. I had no idea what I was going to say there. Pretty happy with how it turned out. And now, with a content drought for BF5, plus the recent news that there's only going to be 1 or 2 more content drops total for the game, quite a lot of people are returning to older Battlefield games, BF1, BF4, BF Hardline, etc. So it seems like the perfect time to do an updated list of the best guns for each class in Battlefield 1. Yep, this is the 2020 version, produced for your entertainment, you alone, you listen to this right now, just you, everyone else is just a bonus, and hopefully to help some of you out as well. But let's clarify, this is of course only my opinion, just me, one person. The best gun for one individual isn't necessarily the best one for someone else, so please be sure to leave your list in the comments below as well. And one final point, I haven't just gone and selected my personal favourite gun for each class. I've thought about this, and instead what I've tried to do is pick guns that have a great balance of ease of use and effectiveness for the average player, especially people just now coming back to the game and not had much practice. So these aren't the most potent guns, nor the easiest to use, but a very healthy middle ground for effective play. And so, let's get into this. First off, we have the Assault class, and I've gone for the MP18, in this case the Trench variant. Now for some of you this might seem like an absolutely egregious choice, and you're already reaching for the dislike button because the gods of Hell Eagles and SMG08s are telling you to. But just hear me out. I did say this isn't about the easiest or the most potent, because what isn't to like about fantastic hipfire? 4 bullets to kill at close range out to around 12 meters, very manageable recoil, and still having a solid rate of fire of 550 rounds per minute, plus a magazine size of 32. Okay, so some of you are impressed and some of you still aren't convinced. Because maybe you think, well, this gun kills faster, or this gun has more rounds, or this gun fires more quickly, you know, whatever it may be. But let me really stress this here. This weapon is an absolute hipfire monster. It's so easy to pick up hipfire kills with this gun, giving you a genuine advantage over many competing weapons at closer ranges, and even sometimes slightly longer close range, if that makes sense. But it's also then absolutely stable enough to contest at mid-range, at least at times, especially if you can burst fire a weapon well. Don't be fooled by the constant usage of something like the SMG08. Yes, that's super good, but for versatility, the MP18 is right up there. And it's not as if it's just left in the dirt for raw kill time anyway. At 12 meters, it kills under 50 milliseconds more slowly than the ever popular Hell Eagle. Just 50 milliseconds. Now I know that makes a difference, but it's not the biggest difference you're ever going to come across. Add on to that the benefit of being able to hit fire most of the time, often reducing your kill time due to less time spent acquiring the target and going into ADS, and well, for the right player, the MP18 does real damage, often outstripping these weapons that do need to be used in ADS more often. In addition to this, consider the size of the maps in Battlefield. Going all in on something like the Automatico, which is another hipfire machine, will see you drop people more quickly, but you'll be a lot more limited at even slightly longer distances, especially on console, but still to a degree on PC, making you easy pickings against many medic rifles, or indeed something like the Ribé Relais. And yes, I said that with real flair. But I guess the truth of the matter is, and this applies for all the classes really, there are a great many really good options. BF1 did a fantastic job of weapon differentiation, thus there could be a literal list of very effective weapons, many of which I've already mentioned in this video, but don't count out the MP18. It's really good, and it's my current pick for the best assault gun in BF1 in 2020 for the parameters I set out at the start of the video. Next up, we come to the medic class, and I've gone for the auto-loading extended. I actually still find it surprising just how effective this thing really is, even to this day. It's absolutely lethal, although a reasonably fast trigger finger is required in order to achieve somewhere around the optimal kill time with it, because this is a semi-auto weapon that can fire at 360 rounds per minute. That's 6 shots per second. Now it kills in 3 shots to center mass out to 22 meters, 4 shots out to 38 meters, and 5 shots beyond that, all with 16 rounds available per reload. It is genuinely scary coming up against this gun in the hands of a capable enemy. Within 22 meters, this is one of the most effective weapons in the entire game, while still not being at the upper end of the difficulty curve for usage. Now I have selected the extended variant for the mix of ease of use, as laid out at the start of the video again, and potency. The autoloading factory and and the autoloading marksman are both actually even more lethal options, killing in 3 shots all the way out to 70 meters, and then requiring just 4 bullets beyond that. Plus, in the marksman's case, with greater accuracy. But they're both harder to control and are limited to just 5 rounds per reload. They're 1v1 destroyers, absolutely nuke the enemy via mag dumping and then reload, rinse and repeat. Great for some players, for sure, but absolutely not one of the popular playstyles for the average player. Hence why I've gone for the less potent but still lethal extended variant with 16 available rounds. With this, you have the option to take on multiple enemies before reloading. Just be aware that your accuracy for longer ranges isn't going to be up there with many of the other medic rifles. That's the trade-off here. Otherwise, it would be broken levels of overpowered, and truthfully, it doesn't even need that. Just focus on that 3 bullets to kill capability out to 22 meters, and then everything else is a bonus. Give it a try, you might just thank me later, and all of this is why it's my pick for the best medic gun in BF1 in 2020. Now, as per the logical order, we come to the support class, and I've gone for the very popular actually, M1917 MG, although it's not popular for particularly obvious reasons, and we'll go through that. And on this occasion, it's the low weight variant. Plus, for the footage, it's sporting the awesome looking and escalation skin, which you can only acquire via completing an in-game challenge / Easter egg. So if you want it, go and look up a guide on how to get it. It can all be done in an empty lobby. Anyway, to the point. The M1917 hasn't been selected for killing potential, for just stability, just for range or anything like that. I've chosen it due to its ridiculous 250 rounds available per reload, plus just being solid in some core stat departments. This is your sit, fire and forget option. 250 rounds is a stupid amount. If you can find a vantage point, just chugging away with this thing can make you an absolute menace for the opposition to deal with. Fairly easy to control, and with great accuracy, it can claim to be very consistent. Not picking up super fast kills, but you know what you're gonna get out of it. So you can't be expecting to get up close and effectively duel against assault weapons and such like. For that, you're better off going for something like the BAR or the Burton, but that's not the focus for me here. At least not a lot of the time. Support fulfills a different role, one that's better carved out in BF1 than in BF5, and you aren't as reliant upon using the bipod, although it's still very effective when you choose to. Now, stationary firing is almost a necessity at times. Firing while moving is going to hurt your accuracy, as is firing before going into ADS, but if you can get the hang of that and control the distances of your engagements, the M1917 MG is just that nice mix of easy to use and still actually useful. A little bit more lethal than the Perino, but slightly harder to use. Now, this likely isn't all that obvious a pick, as some people focus upon kill times alone for top tier weapons, and I get that. But for the average player, the M1917 MG is deceptively viable, especially in a game with suppression. Even if you're not getting the kills, you can stop the enemy from doing so. Give it a try and get used to moving cover to cover and remaining still while firing when you can. Your effectiveness will shoot up, and with that in mind, all of that is why I've selected the M1917 MG low weight as the best gun for the support class in BF1 in 2020. And now to the scout class, and it's the Ross Mark III Infantry. Genuinely, the Ross rifle, the Ross rifle, the Ross rifle a million times over the Ross rifle. In a game where some complain about spread, about random bullet deviation, about shots not landing and whatever else, which by the way, most of the time can be mitigated by employing relevant weapon usage strategies, but that's a different topic for a different day, the Ross feels like cheating. It does it all. It's like they took the strengths of multiple weapons and threw them into one gun. It's just so easy to use and super effective, and yet I never used to see that many of them, and still feels like it's kind of a rare occurrence now. The Ross has a sweet spot range, or one shot kill to the body range, between 41 and 75 meters. You can cycle the next round while in ADS if you so wish, which I actually don't do very often, but it is there if you want it. It has a rate of fire of 62 rounds per minute, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's the equal fastest in the game for a weapon with a sweet spot, tied with the Arisaka. The iron sights for me are super clear and very easy to use, although that's up for debate, as I have had some people say they don't like them at all, but that does mean there will be some people like me out there who use it and agree and do find them easy to use. So if that's you, then great. But I just genuinely feel like the hitbox is massive when I use this thing, which could all totally be in my head, but getting kills with this gun just feels so simple. Plus, with manual spotting, you can simply spot the enemy and then aim a little below the center of the spotting mark and boom, they're dead, off to the respawn screen they go. And I have no problems using the infantry variant even for long range engagements a lot of the time, meaning that the marksman variant isn't required very often, although that gun is also very good. But if you want a closer or longer range sweet spot, obviously the Ross won't be for you, but I personally feel like it falls nicely into the middle ground, plus with all the benefits I've listed. An absolute dream of a weapon in my opinion, go and try it out, some of you will absolutely fall in love with it, and all of that is why the Ross Mark III Infantry is my choice for the best scout weapon in BF1 in 2020. And so that's my list. Remember, it is just my opinion, so please feel free to share your list below in the comments if you so wish. I really hope you enjoyed. Leaving a like is super useful if you enjoyed, do that. If you didn't, maybe a dislike. Consider subscribing if you're new here for very regular Battlefield content. Thanks for all the recent support, it's very much appreciated, and all the links to my social media including Patreon can be found in the description and my pinned comment. Here's the Board of Awesome for the epic people who already support the channel on Patreon. They're all absolute heroes and I love them all deeply and of course often. If you want to join them on the Board of Awesome, the link to the Patreon page is in the description and my pinned comment. And with that all said, I'm GetGoodGuy and I'll see you next time. Laters. Next up, the Turner SMLE. Right, I loved this thing when I used to play BF1. I've tried it a little bit for this footage. I am rusty. I was good at BF1. I am awful now.